I am going to shock you because I'm not going to do 2 photos today. Okay, it's a small shock. We can cope. This is everything I've made with the May supply list so far. So we've got 2 3x4s, 2 3x4s. Oh, these are not in the order that I made them. 2 4x6, 2 4x6. So they actually go, so this is the most recent. That was Wednesday. That was last Friday. That was last Wednesday. And that was the Friday before. We're going to see if Monday works as a Monday next week. Right. So that's what we've made so far. And today, oh, there's extra scraps there. Just a single 4x6 photo and a story to tell because as of yesterday, year 6 exams done. And they found out what their school play is going to be. So that was exciting. An exciting day all around. And today they get like a celebration day. So that is really cool too. And it's the day that I'm going to use that round design pattern paper. So this is the one with the round design. How do we use this and make it work? So we are going to do that. Let's cut the branding strip up and get straight in. So this actually is a 2022 paper, but there was plenty of it in the store. And I know I'm a bit retro, but I love a bit of peach and teal together. It's one of those color combinations from the 90s that I would be quite happy to have return. And so whenever we've got a round composition, be it one that's printed on the paper or one that we have created by putting embellishments in a circle, punching pieces and putting them in a circle, or, you know, inking stuff in a circle, whether it's pre-printed or we made it a wreath type cut file that we just plop on the page, whatever that is, I usually find it's way easier to design by going to, now this will hurt your math head, a corner of the circle. But there's a corner because we've put the circle on a square, right? So we've got a circle here, but we still see this as a square canvas, so it has corners. So if we go to one side of that, to one corner of the page, it's going to be easier than trying to make this happen. It's just not going to work, yeah? The only time that going in the center of a circular design can work in a scrapbook page is if you can find a way to make this actually be the frame for what you're putting in here. So you would need a round photo or a photo where you're only going to show a round bit of it because there's going to be cut out here or something. That's not my sort of thing. Also, that sounds way too complicated in terms of getting the circle to be the right size for the print to be the right size. I'm going to hard pass. Put it to the corner and just roll your eyes when I say the corner of the circle. I am fully aware circles don't have corners, but the square that we've put that circle on does. All right, so that's where we're going today. Hi, my name is Shimelle. I teach online scrapbooking classes, design scrapbooking products, and help you use them to tell your stories in a creative way. It's not just my hobby, it is my job, and that means anytime you scrapbook on the internet, it's considered advertising, and legally you need to make, I need to make sure you're aware of that. There we go. So thank you for coming to watch my hashtag advertising. I appreciate you being here, whether you are live, chatty, quiet, watch from Tomorrowland, craft, don't craft, think about coming back to craft, all of it. You are welcome here, and the links that you need will be in the description box with this video. If you want to get the supplies that I'm using, those are listed for both May and June. And Georgia has quite dramatically said, I can't see your face. There's a reason for that. We're going to go just hands today. I am not ready to have my face be on the internet today. Later. I got a lot of videos today. Later, my face shall be on the internet. But today, or this morning, no. It was a late night. I'm going to keep my face away from everyone so that no one has a jump scare. It's all good. Right. So you can find both this month's supplies, that's May, and next month's supplies, that's June. My June kit is downstairs unopened at the moment. you can find all of that linked in the description box. Scrapbook.com has a big clearance sale at the moment. So if there was stuff that you needed to stock up on, you might want to check if any of it's on clearance. Or if there was something that you had put in your wish list because you were like, yeah, I really like this, but I really wish it was a cheaper price. Now would be your time. But it just depends on what you were looking for. Then, this weekend, as in tomorrow and the next day, is the Scrap and Learn event. I know Georgia is coming. She has printed out all of the class materials and used her cinch to make an over 200-page binder of content. So it's 2 days of a team of teachers doing lessons and make and takes and all of this, all online. And my class is on Sunday, and it is going to be a bit like a TED Talk for scrapbooking, and I hope you enjoy. We're going to make a double-page spread, a single layout that Georgia has seen, because they have step-by-step instructions that if you wanted to just piece it together and follow along, you can. But then also surprise stuff that I'll be making with you, where you can grab from either the kit or just stuff in your stash. And we're going to go ahead and just make stuff as we talk. So in a little different format than here. It has a focus. It has an agenda. It has PowerPoint slides. It's not PowerPoint, but it has visual aids that aren't scrapbook pages. So that's exciting. Right. Also in the link box, the description box, it has links to where you can find my classes, because I also have one that's all about using the old stash that you have. There was a new video for that today is Friday, on Wednesday. Last night there was a new video for my punch class, the old 1-2 punch. And then tonight, both of those classes get new videos. What? Right. So there we are. That's the status of everything. You can find all those links down below or to the side, depending on what kind of app you're on. Let's scrapbook. All right. I just went to change the camera, but there's no camera to change. So we've got one 4x6 photo, which admittedly is probably a little bit big for the size of the circle, but we're going to work with it anyway. That's fine. So let's pull out some scraps that we have from this kit. And also, let's put some things away so that I don't mix them up. All right. You can go over there. Thank you. Now, we have stamps and dots to use later. I need to find the backing piece on that. Oh, is it here? Okay. Clear things. I'm not good with clear things. Oh, Becca, after this video, I will be processing more, so I will hopefully get you all sorted then. Right. We have got papers. We've got the vellum. Still got plenty of that. We have this one. And this. That still leaves me 2 whole 12x12s I haven't cut into yet that I can use as backgrounds. And then embellishment wise, this month we are using all sorts of stuff from previous kits and stash and all of that. And Georgia was like, I wondered how this would work because they've given you the late shift, but I have lights, so we're good. We're good. Plus it stays light quite late now. It's going to be fine. All right. What color do we want to mat this in? So, oh, I don't have a whole bunch of this turquoise. Oh, it'll work. It's a tiny mat. Let's do the tiny mat. Now, thinking about a paper design in terms of where you want to go with it, I know that where I'm using this corner to anchor my photo, I'm going to use this as the journaling space. So we're going to make that easier right now. Teeny, 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 tiny brown pen. And if I can spot where it's hiding, a ruler. I don't use those very often, hence why I have to think about where one might be. Here we are. Okay. So, should I have done that the other way? Yes. So we turn the paper around. Okay. We are going to add journaling lines to this circle. You could freehand. I could freehand. I'm just fancying lines today. A week of exams, straight into a 2-show day yesterday. I'm here for no face cam and help with writing in a straight line, vaguely straight line. Also, I saw that little viral video about this isn't a message for workmans. Have we seen this? I love it. So if you haven't seen this, it's a video with a mom and her toddler who's dressed in a tiny high-vis jacket. And the mom says, it's okay, we're going to ask the internet. She says, this is a message for workmans. Or if you know a workman, you can also answer this question. Because, and she speaks to the child, you're a workman, aren't you? And the child says, yes. And she says, and I've just served us lunch because workmen take a lunch break. But here's the thing. This little workman doesn't believe me that workmen take naps. So if you're a workman or you know a workman, could you let us know, do you take naps? And then there's a little wink and a don't let me down. Oh, the workman did not let her down. There are so many response videos where people on construction sites have posed little nap videos, and it's really, really wholesome, and I'm in love with it. So yes, and I'm in love with the fact that at the very beginning, instead of saying workmen, she says workmans, because that's obviously what the kid has said, and it's just very cute, very cute. But then she does go in and say it correctly. So anyway, right. So if the workmen get a nap, I think I'm in the same sort of zone. And to be honest, I'm glad that they don't have normal lessons at school today. They can do a celebration day, because I think all of the kids are a bit tired. Now, trying to see where to stop the lines, because... Oh no, that was nice. That works. Okay, let's do that and then shorten them as we reach the top of the circle. Okay. I'm vaguely excited with my ability to tell you a story and make that happen at the same time, and it didn't go skew-if. Yes? Celebrate yourself. Small accomplishments are good. Oh, I wondered where you'd gone, Georgia. Her husband had the nerve to phone and interrupt her. What? Well, let's go. Oh, Rita's signed up for Scrap and Learn, but also has to get ready for baccalaureate. Amazing. Well, congratulations to your granddaughter. Hope all goes very, very well. I think that spot there. Right. Now, using stash embellishments. I don't know if you remember when I walked through this kit. I had ordered something for myself because I think I looked at putting it in the kit and there were only a couple. Oh, Nikki, it might take a couple days to make it to searchable stuff because I think it literally was posted yesterday. So it'll appear soon. So I've got this pack. Peach Laser Cut Elements. Oh, it folds out. Oh, it's double-sided. It's peach on the back. Okay. So what I was thinking is we could bring in some elements like that because we want a little layer stack behind this photo. Oh, I love a piece like this. And I love a piece like this because let us remember. Can you tell what that is? Sorry. It's like a torn notebook edge. You might go, oh no, I have the paper, but now she's using something that I don't have. Calm. If you don't have other doilies, you could use just something that's round. Do you have a round die cut? Like you could use something along the lines of this kind of die cut instead of that doily. You could cut a circle either with a die, a punch, or a coffee cup, a pencil, and tracing round. Yeah. And things like this, if you don't have that exact die cut that gives you that effect, do you have, anything that's spiral bound where you could tear it off, but then just use that edge and save the other part for another page? Or do you have a notebook edge punch that you could just use with a scrap of paper in the right color? Yeah, we can do it. Let's also have a little tab in the more saturated color there. And a label. George was giving her husband one-word answers to try and get him off the phone. Oh, you're too funny. Okay, I definitely love one sheet more than the other. This one is heavy on moths. And I'm not quite sure how I would use a floral like this, but it's not impossible. But this sheet is totally up my alley. I love these sorts of pieces. Okay, and let's have an always stay curious. That seems sensible for finishing your exam. If the sentiments don't work, you've got peach where you could write your own sentiment or leave it blank on the other side. Nice. Let's have both these layering pieces. Right, so that's a start. Lovely, beautiful 49 market. What can we put with it? Would kind of like to bring in a bit of the teal. So this was from a kit. This, I believe, is from January's kit. We could have that. Here's another from that same die cut pack. Bring in the teal. Anything else sitting here looking like it could work? Oh, maybe that one. All right. Let's ink all of these and figure out where they can fit. Yeah. All right. Now, Wednesday, we went big on the random rubbish. We had a deep dive into Phineas and Ferb. Oh, and I didn't fact check something because Corey said it in the comments, and I was like, oh yeah, it sounded right to me. It was not right. And we got fact checked in the comments. So thank you for correcting that, because then I felt very silly. Especially because I had like 30 seconds earlier gone, I feel like this is right, but I just want to check before I say it. And then I didn't check that bit. What? Broadcasting is hard. But anyway, we don't have Phineas and Ferb as a random discussion today. What is everybody up to? What is our random rubbish going to end up being? Other than the power of naps. We have the fun thing this weekend that there are football matches at Wembley Stadium both days, which means how many people does that hold? Like thousands, 62,000, something like that. Let's fact check now that I'm nervous. Wembley Stadium capacity 90,000. Are you kidding me? 90,000 for a football match, and there's a football match both days this weekend. That is more people than I care to be around. I'm gonna be honest. There's too many people. Too many people. I think the local businesses also feel like it's a lot of people because they take the furniture away. There's no outdoor seating. But yeah, we'll figure it out. Oh, excellent. Becca has just been to a color run for her 7-year-old school. That's amazing. I love that a kid's school do a color run. That's so cool. So messy. Also, I think that would have helped my enjoyment of running at a young age because I couldn't stand it. But that, I think that would have changed things for me. Bring color into it. Yes, please. Okay, so if we put the turquoise, so I basically pulled out 2 colors, right? I've got the peachy oranges and the turquoise. So now we want to alternate those in the layering. I think I'm going to have even more of this than I need here, so I'm going to cut that down. How many different times can I use that same die cut? Oh, I need to ink the edge that I just cut. There we go. Hello, Joanne. All right, so we got the peach, then we got turquoise, teal. Then can we put that behind there? Or do we need to go that side now? I think we need to go that side. Oh, I just realized, you know what else is in my June box? It's not exciting, but it's necessary. I have adhesive refills for my yellow adhesive in that box because they were in stock that day. That's exciting. Okay, so we'll alternate peach and turquoise again. But I don't want it to feel like it's the same piece, so I'm going to make this one smaller. Okay, well, we got this happening. What about this birdie? So the floral bit is what makes this work, but it's too wide. So I think we do this. We cut in the middle, but then we tear outside the flower. And we have a look. What? Nikki has just discovered there's a bricks and mortar craft store half an hour away. I think, yes, you have to go. just check it out, report back, see what they have. It might be completely different stuff than what you use, but it might be super exciting. And you'll never know unless you go. Oh, Georgia, excellent work. Babysat for kids who thought she looked like a teenager. Now this time I can make that look like it's the same piece of paper and stretch it across if I want to. And we have these pieces. So how am I doing in keeping some journaling room? Not too bad, but we got a lot of edge down here that we could work with, so why don't we add that in here? And I think I'm ready to get this stuck to the background. Title's going to happen up here. Okay. So it's stuck to the background, but the edges are all unstuck so that I can work across these tuckies. So we can put this one down across there. Got a little open gap there, but we're going to put something in it. Do not worry. We're going to put this up here. So when you go to layer around a photo, how many papers do you go for? Like, do you automatically go to a paper stack and cut several different papers to be bigger than your photo? Bigger, bigger, bigger. Because this one actually only has one. So I've put the turquoise plaid around the photo in that teeny tiny skinny mat. That's this paper. But everything else here is just little bits and pieces. And in this case, all die cuts at this point. Yeah. So don't feel like if you start somewhere else, don't feel that you have to start with a paper stack every time. It can work beautifully, but it doesn't have to be the only thing that you do. The only thing in your stacking arsenal. Let's bring that one down there. That one across there. Those are really similar. So what happens if I add this one down here? I think it needs to go under rather than on top, because it's such a bright white that it just needs calming down a little bit. Yep, better. And that's why we don't glue all those down edges. Okay, oh, Dawn, I'm going to email you today because I have sorted something, but it's clearly not showing for you. I might get Alice to message you if my messages aren't getting through. Let me actually write you down because I had a confused face and you're kind of on my mental list to check in with today. So I'm putting you on a physical paper list right now to make sure we sort that out. Because you should be all good, but clearly you're not. So let's sort it out. Thank you. Right, that is written down right there. Okay. Oh, sorry. And dun, 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 dun. Okay. That is a really good observation. Kelly says her layering around a photo depends on what's on her desk, because sometimes it's more paper focus and sometimes it's more ephemera. And I'm hoping that comes from that same concept that I really, really love of it's more fun to keep scrapping than it is to organize the supplies and put them away. I know Georgia is #organized, but I would much rather if I have die cuts sitting on my desk, I'd much rather stick them onto something than figure out how am I going to store this. So yeah, definitely a case of if you've got a whole bunch of cut into papers, so you've got scraps, what could you stack up is a great concept. All right, so we have built this much. I'm going to go back to that die cut sheet that I liked to see about some smaller pieces, but I think I'm going to find it difficult because the colors are also similar now. Just curious about something like this. See, I don't like it over the photo. It does a weird realism thing. I think I'd like it under the doily. Okay, so put that under the doily, and then I think I need to move into a different texture. So let me grab maybe a sticker sheet, and I've got my enamel dots ready. Yeah, let's look at some other pieces. Georgia says she has a pot on her desk, and then it's an organized pot. Does this count as an organized pot? I mean, it's here where I can remind myself to use it, because it was, that same pot was in a cupboard, and then I wasn't using it. So there we go. Now I've been using it because it's in front of me. It's a bit too long for the paper, so I'm going to trim there so the effect actually works, because it's supposed to look like it's tied around a piece of paper. Okay, a little bit of extra a layer there. A different texture. So I've got dots, but let's look for stickers. What could we have? These are interesting. They're very different, and I clearly don't go to them very often. So that's a good reason to pull something out, right? So let's see how many of them I have. Ah, these are similar but a different brand. Okay, let's pull these elements out. Some of them will not be usable at all because I've just picked up the stack. So it was these that I was thinking about. So these are sticker books, but they're more designed for planners. So I tend to neglect them a little bit. And then these are Simple Stories sticker books, which are not so planner-ish. But they're just ones from older kits that I haven't used. Also, tortoiseshell paperclip. Hello, Noreen. Yes, paper and a bunch of these die cuts are all $49 market. That is correct. Okay, so this is an Amy Tangerine paperclip. What do we think about bringing tortoiseshell into this? The thing when it's heart is it's got to be here. I can't put it sideways. It'll not quite work. I could clip it to a doily though. I think it has to be the other way around. The small one on the front. I don't think it's quite right. Do you think? Okay. I won't put it away just yet in case something comes up. Right, let's have a little flip through here and see if we find, like, actually this globe is kind of nice. I'm going to see if it appears anywhere else because I ideally would love it leaning the other way. No, it does not appear somewhere else. It was a nice idea, Shimelle. Okay, let's use it anyway. Okay. Kind of like that floral piece there. It's a different kind of floral than these watercolors, but it also somehow works to my eye. And I need something here, so why don't we do that? So I just want to take the stem off, make it just be the flower. I'll just tuck the stem underneath. Which is great, but now I'm going to want a different flower. So there's just black and white there. This one is a similar style. Rebecca, that's hilarious. We believe you, we believe you. Okay, so that floral appears there. And how about some little sentiments here? No, it was a Thursday, not a Friday. Thursday. Today is Friday. Look at me on a kick to use up day of the week stickers because I never use them. Thursday. I like this shade. Yeah. So let's do 3, 1, 2. Turns out this collection have colors that work together. You wouldn't necessarily think it, but they're working. Because, I mean, art styles could not be more different, right? Hello, Auntie Caffeine. This piece. Now, we have the tricksy part of connecting this beautiful little pile to this beautiful little paper and kind of bringing foreground and background together. Always good fun. So let's figure out what we can do. Put some of this underneath here. Arg. Pirate scrapbooking. Okay. Yeah. A little bit more of that here, that gap. I love it when I discover things in the wrong order, but you know, we get there in the end. By pulling all the pieces off. That's how we get there in the end. Okay. Let's bring in some dots and see if that can help us connect across. See if we can do a variety of shades here. Mist-wise, are we thinking gold or rose gold with this? I think either could work. Shout out in the live chat if you have a preference. Okay, I think that's it with the dots for the moment. Yeah, hello, Christina. This collection, some small pieces that are good colors, but we can add in some little hearts and things. Oh, that's too tone on tone. Not going to see it. Let's bring that one down there. Two little hearts to match there. I wonder if I make it 3 with the yellow. Is the yellow too bright? Oh, yes. So they're going to do Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Very excited, yeah. And of course, he knows Charlie's songs. But he usually, yes, there's going to be a title. A title's going in here. He usually would play the child roles, right? So he's used to playing the child roles, but this is a child musical. All of the roles will be played by children. So now he's thinking maybe it'd be more fun to be one of the adults. So we will see what happens. Who knows? They get their audition materials today, so I have a feeling when I pick him up, he will be a very chatty child. All right. We could go back to some of those labels if needed. But mostly this one is not helping me as much as the other one did. There's a few little bits. Like this one could work. Have another round element in here. Oh goodness, Beckett did a family movie night watching the old Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and introduced her kids to chocolate fondue, and they've been singing "I've Got a Golden Ticket" ever since, which is lovely. Where do I want it to go? There. All right. Okay, we used some pieces from that. That was Carpe Diem Bliss. Not the other one I pulled out is kitchen cooking themed, so no. Right. I'm missing a message. Where is that? Georgia will have, I've got a golden ticket in my head. Okay, we're going to do rose gold. Auntie Caffeine, I'm really confused. Do you mean enamel dots? Because Auntie Caffeine says, do you ever do layouts without pop dots? And I haven't used a pop dot on this. But do you mean enamel dots? Hardly ever. I love them. They are me. It doesn't look done with ink, unless I ink the edges and put dots on it. And usually miss too. Woo! Christina's got 6 weeks to go. And then you're going to come let us all be aunties and tell us all about your wonderful new adventure. Yes, please. Okay, so we got the rose gold. Coming in 2 corners. She did mean enamel dots. Yes. I love them. I mean, sometimes I'll use pearls instead, or rhinestones instead. I try using sequins, but I like dots better. Maybe I have too many sequins already in my life in the dance world that they feel very thematically linked to dance. Could I use both, Miss? Yes, I might. I also thought about I might grab the turquoise, but I'm also going to try and make my voice a bit less gravelly. I really need to just bring my pitch up and talk to you up here. See, this part of my voice, which is a bit more sing-songy, is not so affected by having gold earlier. Okay. Oh goodness, for fractured wrist as well. You poor thing. Okay. But 6 weeks, you can do it. You can do it. And then you're going to tell us all wonderful things. Yeah? We're manifesting it for you. Jean says, it's because sequins turn the wrong way and it's just annoying. I think you might be onto something there very much. Oh, Joanne says the voice sounds okay. Right. It sounds to me in my head very gravelly, but I will believe you. Interestingly, in all of this, I did not pull out the vellum. I could put it in just a little bit of it. A little bit. Just a little bit. Like that. Look at that. Nothing stuck. So I can do that. That's very pretty. Worth doing, yes. Okay, title. Do I have an exclamation point on here? Yes, I have already even used it. Apparently May is all about exclamation points. Okay. Ink color here. Ooh, so do we, I mean, you could have a really subtle title and go with dried marigold because we're putting it on the white. So that would be like the palest shade that would work. Or we can go more toward the teal. I'm wondering about, I think that's too green. Yeah, that's correct, pistachio. But what about that? Yeah, that's salvage patina. Let's see what the subtitles think that color is today, because that was the one it really had an interesting opinion on the other day. Yeah. Oh, Kelly thought the title was going to be dried marigold. No, that's an ink color. Peacock feathers would work, but would be really bold. I didn't want it to be quite that bold, but yes, you could definitely use peacock feathers and go bright. Noreen says, I'm brave stamping right on the layout. Let's see who's paid attention over the years. Why does it take zero bravery to stamp right onto the layout, onto the background. Let's see who's been paying attention over the years. Georgia says, next month will I be using the stamp set from Live the Dream? I will probably use it a little bit to show you, but not all of the time because it was already sold out when the kit went live. So there's it wasn't in the kit, but I will probably show you some examples. Yes. Hey! So people have been paying attention. So the reason why it takes zero bravery to stamp on the background. Think about if you were not stamping on the background, what you would be doing. You would be stamping on another piece of paper and bringing it in and attaching it here, which would be covering up the background. So if I stamp it and I get it wrong or I don't like it, I can just do the step that you were going to do first, yeah? The stamp on another piece of paper. And no one is going to know, except for the fact that I'm live streaming and showing you. When they turn the pages in my album, they're not going to know that it's covered up underneath, that there was a mistake, or I didn't like what I made and I changed my mind. Because not a mistake, the only thing I'm meaning as a mistake is if I stamp the wrong letter because I'm not paying enough attention and I misspell something. Yeah. Nothing to do with the lines, nothing to do with anything other than that, really. You can just add more layers to cover it up. So the first go might as well be on the background. Yep. Now, I'm just going to warn the Americans that the next bit of the title is going to confuse you because both countries have an exam called SATs. So in America, we call that the SATs, and in the UK, we call it SATs. But they're very different tests. They're both big, annoying, high-pressure tests, but they are different. So in this country, they are taken at a young age, and they're mostly testing schools to see if they are making the progress that they should be using, or should be making. But in the States, for those of you over here, they are taken when you are in your last couple years of high school, and they are your university entrance exam. Essentially, they're what you put on your CV to say, I would like to go to university, and I got this score on my SATs. Is that good enough? And so a bit like how we apply over here with our A-level results. Yeah. So if you look at this, and the American eye will be like, oh my goodness, he took his SATs. No, he took his SATs, which is every child in a state school at this age, 10 or 11, will be taken. There you go. But it's high pressure enough that they bring the whole year in an hour early for school and feed them a cooked breakfast for 4 days in a row. So that's the part he'll miss, because I don't do fancy made-to-order breakfast before school. So there we go. Now, I'm wondering about doing something a little bit fancy. So we still, I spelt it all right, but we still have the potential that I might need to cover it up because I'm going to do something fancy and it could go wrong. Woo, woo. We love a bit of tension. Right. So that was salvage patina. Tonally, darker than that would be peacock feathers. And what I'm wanting to do is to stamp onto a stamp. So let's find oh, Nikki said for her it's not the stamping onto the background, it's that I knew it would fit in that space. Spoilers, I did not know. I just have a lot of practice, so I have a pretty good guess most of the time. Oh, and on to caffeine says, what are GCSEs? So GCSEs you take when you're 15 and 16, and they are the equivalent to final exams in American high school. Yeah. And so you would take them in all of the subjects that you've taken classes in, and then it's a formal qualification that stays with you forever. And then we specialize further and further. So in American school, we keep doing the full curriculum, including most degrees have you still doing a cross-curriculum plan for your first 2 years of a bachelor's degree. Like my American bachelor's included having to take courses in, like, I had to do maths, I had to do science, I had to do accounting, I had to do computer literacy, I had to do a PE class. What? I had to do PE. I had to cover all of those things in order to get a degree, even though my degree was in a certain subject, right? So British schooling does not work that way. British students specialize much, much earlier. So you're still taking your core subjects of English, math, science up to 16. But then, but you have already chosen some electives when you are 13. So you've narrowed some things out. For example, the school that WB is going to, he will start next year doing 4 languages, which is way more than he's ever done, in addition to English. So he'll have to do Spanish and French, which he's already done at primary school a little bit. And then he'll also have to add German and Latin. When he is 13, he can choose which of those he's going to keep. And if you're great at languages, you could keep all 4, but most kids will drop down to 1 or 2. Yeah. And then you carry on. Some schools, you could drop languages entirely. It depends on the school. Jessica said, my Harry Potter brain just went like OWLs. Yes. So the ordinary wizarding level and and owls and newts, it's GCSEs and A levels. Yeah, it's exactly what we do. Hogwarts is not an education system that's based in nothing. It's definitely based on how schools work here. So, then when we go to university, so when everybody goes till 16, your core subjects can then end. For what you study for 16, 17, 18, you choose, and most people do 3 or 4 subjects. If you can also change to being an apprentice at that age. And until recently, you could just leave education. But right now, we've recently changed that you have to stay doing something in a learning environment until 18. That might be being an apprentice, though, and working on the job, or learning on the job. Hopefully everyone's working on their job. Terrible words. So by the time you then go to university, you are only doing your subject. So when I moved to the UK to do my master's, but I did my bachelor's in America, the jump was eye-watering because everybody in my course, which is only 11 people in my master's course, had already been specialized in that particular subject from at the very latest 18, but some of them from 16. And meanwhile, I chose to do my master's in something that I got really into in my last term, the last semester of my undergrad. I was way behind the curve, way, way, way behind. I had so much catching up to do. Right, I wanted to do this stamp on a stamp thing, so that requires another stamp. Let's find a background stamp. Can't be text because that won't work. It just needs to be something with a small pattern. Oh, here. I've got dots, but that seems too... I want random dots, not... That one has stars in it. Let's do that. Dots and stars. Oh, what have I done? Okay. Right. Oh, Yeah, I'll just leave it for you. Okay, so we're going to take the same letter stamps, but then I'm also going to put some of this ink on a background stamp. All right. Stamp that onto there and then bring it over here. So that I'm going to add a little bit of this layered spotty texture from the background paper into my layering. Make sense? Okay. And just go to a different part. So it's subtle, but I think it's going to help it work with the background. Because, I mean, this is like a big, blocky, bold kind of lettering style. It doesn't really go with this delicate layering that's happening in the printed paper. So we just add a little to it, make it a bit special. Yeah, the stars aren't even going to look particularly like stars. They're just going to look like little dots. That's fine. Let's ink this again because I think I've taken quite a bit of it. Yes, that's one thing that I was shocked that WB's primary school didn't do, sign language. So trivia, Britain and America have different sign language. Yeah, it's not the same universally, does not follow the spoken language. Aussies, what do you use? Is it a third one? Or do you use one of the others? Please, I'd never thought about it. So I had learned enough American Sign Language. I'm very rusty now. I had enough American that I could do the Dairy Queen menu and take people's orders when I worked at Dairy Queen. So I could fingerspell and stuff like that. And then came over here and instinctually somebody was signing something and I went to answer back and then realized I couldn't actually understand what they were saying at all because they were spelling with two hands. Finger spelling in British Sign Language is two hands. And American finger spelling is one hand. So I had no clue. Okay. So yes, I know there are hundreds of different sign languages around the world, but I wasn't sure if our other English speaking nations represented in the live chat, if each of those countries had their own. Yes. So Jean says definitely have ASL for American, not American, Australian, Australian Sign Language. Yeah. And no, not the same as each other. So I'm guessing that sounds like a really unnerving, like one of those things that you wouldn't think about it being an added complication to traveling, but it must be. And that must be a really niche thing to be essentially bilingual in sign language, like to be a sign language interpreter, but not meaning that you're just doing talking to signing, but that you're doing language to language. Like, if you think about what's happening here, does that blow anybody else's mind? everybody else can be like, Shimelle, it's very simple. It's no big deal. It's wild to me. It's just a lot. This T does not want to pick up the ink where I want it. There. Okay. I just need the exclamation point. Exclamation point. It's not an explanation. It's an exclamation. Yeah. All right. Let's do here. There we go. So now that blends in a lot more. Could you have also done that with basically putting mist on the stickers or on the stamps? Probably, but I knew that I could control what I was doing that way. So I think that's a good technique to have up your sleeve. Right. Don't lose the clear thing on the top again. Good. All right. Oh, Noreen has info. She says, Door International has good information. Excellent. All right. So journaling's going to come in here in brown, but a slightly bigger pen tip than what I used for the lines. Let's add the gold as well. Georgia. Georgia's BSL knowledge includes swear words. Hello, Marvin. I think I'm going to keep I've done rose gold in the circle, but I'm going to keep the goldy gold to just these two corners where the more yellowy color appears. Hold on, Maleficent. Yesterday, it wasn't our show, so I haven't seen it, and but yesterday was the show was interpreted with a live BSL interpreter. I've never had a show when WB's been on for anything that's had one of those, but he does have one coming up. He's on for the captioned show, so there's gonna be subtitles on some sort of display, and I'm really excited to see how that will work, because there are times when people are saying different things at the same time, which is quite normal in a musical. Like, to have different characters singing at the same time is a thing. So how will that work with the display? I don't know. I'm really curious to see. I'm very excited. But also, yay for anything that can make theater accessible. We love it. Right. I think this needs a bit more teal confetti. And then I think we'll be connected forward to backward, foreground to background. So let's look. I know I am very low, if non-existent, on teal enamel dots, so I can't just lean in to Vices and make that happen. So what else could I add in terms of teal confetti? I could practice what I preach and grab a tiny punch and a teal scrap of paper. I think that would work well. So we have this kind of the right color? Yeah. Okay. Small punch coming up. What do we get? R2D2? No. A heart. That is more sensible than R2D2. I mean, he might pick R2D2. I don't know. But I'm making the pitch. Oh, thank you. Pam is absolutely loving this layout. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, let's start there. Sophia, I haven't seen Sophia in the live chat. Sophia, are you there? Are you teaching art lessons? Is it like Beetlejuice? Oh my goodness. She detail cut camera paper for you. Amazing. There should be a merit badge for that. All right, just inking up these little hearts. All right, let's figure out where they're gonna go. You can go, Shimelle, why are you sticking stuff straight to the background before you figure it out? It's repositionable adhesive. It's fine. I think bring two over here. I know they're in 2s instead of 3s. I think it's all right. Okay, journaling there, all done. Do we like? So let's have a little zoom in for what the stamping looks like in the end. Hello, happy child who finished his exams and went straight to do a 2-show day. All those little layers down at the bottom. Nice bit of torn texture because we've got the die cut edge here, we've got torn paper here, we've got a doily edge there, we've got the bit of vellum as well. Put all those different textures together. That'll improve your layering. Yay! Well, I like it. I'm quite happy with that. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm glad that you can take a little time to either do something else while I scrapbook or scrapbook along with me, or all those things. It's not his camera, that's his travel pass. Yeah, just really glad that you can take the time to be here. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. So when I will see you next, we should be on a Monday next week. Monday should be on a Monday. So that should be Monday 1:30 and Friday 10 a.m. on YouTube next week. And there are class videos for both Old Stash and 1-2 Punch tonight. That'll be late tonight. And then tomorrow and Sunday is Scrap and Learn, and I am on the schedule on Sunday. Okay? Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Also, the additional schedule and everything I always post on Instagram. My username is just Shimelle. I post that late on a Sunday evening, and then I save it in a highlight so you can see the video times for the whole week. And any updates, that's where I put them. Thank you so much. Have a great week. And Georgia is going to push you to sign up for Scrap and Learn. She's there. She's ready to go. Come join in the fun. See you soon. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.